Hey there, everybody. How's everybody doing out there? Can you all hear me? Give me a number 1 if you can hear me. I don't know if this thing's popped up yet or not. We'll wait a few seconds here and let everything come in. JT, it's good to see you. Hope everything's well at the homestead there. MBG, Jan, how you doing? Hope everybody's doing well. Everybody's staying safe. All right. We're just going to give this about a minute or so, and we're going to get going on this here. I'll pop back in and check out and see who's coming in. Hope everybody is staying safe and warm. I know down here in Florida right now, it's not exactly Florida weather, if you know what I'm saying. It's real cloudy. It's real windy. It's a misty rain outside. I don't know what the temperature is, but it isn't too pretty out there for Florida weather, that's for sure. Not to mention, I'm not too far from the water, so we get quite the breeze. So, Sweet Liberty, how you doing today? JT? Oh, that's good to hear, JT. I'm glad your hub's doing a little bit better. That's always a plus. I know my wife's, she's come down with a cold, and we tested her for COVID, and it's not COVID, so that's a good thing. It's just that nasty cold that's going around a lot of people are getting. I had it for quite a while. I was out of work. I was tested 3 times, and I had chest x-rays and everything done. Everything was clear, so I was very happy with that. But 60 degrees right now. Yeah, JT, I think that's about right. With the wind blowing, it's cold outside. Hello, Pitbull. How are you? Shello 3758. How are you doing? All right. As people slowly start jumping in here, we're going to get talking about what we need to talk about here. And today we're talking about what not to do during an SHTF. You know, when the shit hits the fan. There's certain things that you really have to think about when a disaster or a natural disaster or something majorly happens, whether it's whatever. We have to be so careful of what we talk about and say on here. But you get what I'm saying. Depending on the situation and everything else, there's a few rules that you really want to make sure that you're following as a prepper. And the first one we're going to start off with is panic. You don't want to start panicking. In an SHTF situation, panic is the last thing that you really want to think about. It's really the last thing you want to do. You want to stay very calm as possible. Depending on the situation, it may be very difficult to do, but not panicking and being able to think on your feet and make good judgments is a good way that you're going to survive. Panic is, for a lot of people, that's what will take place. That's what's going to happen with those type of people that aren't preppers, that haven't trained their minds in the field of being prepared, what to do, how to survive, and all these different things. Those are the people that are going to have a very hard time surviving a very bad situation. Number 2 would probably be, don't get so obsessed with any news that you do hear. Now, as if it is an SHTF, more than likely you're going to get news from more than likely your radios, shortwave radios, those type of things. I don't know if you are going to have your cell phone service. Your lovely little cell phones probably are not going to be working as much as far as like your TVs and things. It depends on what kind of an SHTF situation it is. But more than likely, you still will get radio frequencies of some type. Rather, like I said, it be through a radio, you know, AM stations, because they have a different draw and a different signal than the FM stations do. Your shortwave radios, your ham radios, CB radios, those type of things. You're probably going to be your best bet in getting information. But don't let the information that you're getting, because you're not really sure exactly how true it is, and you don't know the person that's reporting it to you, how much they actually know, because say it's a grid down type situation. Well, those type of things, how are they getting their information? You know what I'm saying? So you kind of have to take it with a grain of salt and just listen, and then sit back and analyze what you just heard, and then take it from there. You know what I'm saying? Um, Number three would probably, I would have to say, would be in an SHTF type situation, you never want to decline government help. And here's why. Because if you decline government help and other people actually see that you have done that, they're going to wonder, why doesn't he or they need government help? So if the government is going to be setting up, say, mess tents, or they're going to be setting up handouts, they're going to be coming around handing out food, supplies, whatever, or you have to go someplace or whatever the case may be, do it. Be shown in the community or wherever you're there just like everybody else. And this way here, people think you're in the same boat, when in reality, you are very well prepared. Excuse me. You're very well prepared, and you are not letting that out in a sense. You know what I'm saying? You're just kind of like going with the flow, folks. And this way here, you're not like raising any alarms to your particular situation. Get what I'm saying? Um, I would say number four, you really have to think about, you hear a lot of people talk about, bugging in or bugging out, take off and run to the woods and that you're going to survive out there. More than likely, most people can't do that. All right. Whether it be their physical ability to do it, their health to do it. Not a lot of people are going to be able to go out there and climb way up into the mountains somewhere and then build a homestead by hand with just a few tools. It's just not likely. And to survive, say, in a tent or something like that for a long period of time, short period maybe, but a long period of time, especially in the winter months, would be very devastating and probably not something that people are going to do. So bugging out is going to be more of you don't have a choice. You don't have a choice in the matter, and you have to go. I mean, it's a last ditch effort. You want to try to always bug in. You want to stay in your home. That's where all your supplies are. That's where all your food is, your water, your medical supplies. That's where you have everything with you. And this way here, the more you can stay in your home, the better chances you are of surviving the SHTF type situation, and the better chances you have in the ability to make sure that whatever is going on the outside stays on the outside, and you just stay on the inside and protect what is yours. You have four walls around you, a roof over your head, depending on the SHTF situation. But you get what I'm saying. You maybe don't have power coming in. Maybe you don't have running water. But if you've planned for those type of things, bugging in is the number one thing that you want to make sure that you're doing. Let me jump over here real quick in the chat and see who. Robert Bates. Hey, good afternoon. How you doing? If you're just jumping in, we've started talking about things not to do during the SHTF. So you have to go back and start watching it afterwards, catch up to where we are right now. Anybody else in here? I want to make sure that I'm recognizing everybody. All right. So that's the whole difference between bugging in and bugging out. So bugging in is the way you want to go. Number 5, I would have to say, just let me get a drink real quick. Number 5, I would have to say, is never appear weak. Now, what I mean by that is, not that you have the ability or the manpower to go out and move debris or, all this kind of stuff. Appearing weak, never appear in front of other people that are in the neighborhood, or if you're at some place getting the government help or anything else. You don't want to be like breaking down crying. You don't want to do any of this kind of stuff. Keep your head up. Always keep your head up. Don't stare at the ground and all this kind of stuff. Have that eye contact with people. And this way here, you're always observing what is going on around you. Do not appear like, you're down in the dumps and, you've given up on whatever. And you always want to have a positive look to yourself. So that's why I say I would recommend always keeping your head up, having eye contact with people, because then when people look at you, they look at you and like, well, that guy's pretty, confident. Seems like, he's pretty, got a good head on his shoulders, and he's kind of got a grasp on what's going on with this situation. In this way here, you can always, have that appearance, even if you are feeling down and you're desperate or anything else. You don't want to put it out there. This way here, people aren't following you or doing these other things, because if they have the thinking in their head that, hey, I don't want to really mess with that guy, he looks like he knows what going on and he can handle himself. And you just want to, that's what you want. You don't want people to think that you're weak or anything like that. Excuse me. Number 6, I would have to say, is watch the blame game. Now, we all do it. Everybody out there has done it at some point in time throughout your life. Okay. You blame somebody else. You blame this. You blame that. You do all this kind of stuff. Just stay away from that whole thing, especially if you're out in the community. If you're inside of your home and it's just you and your family and everything else, you can voice your opinion how you wish. I mean, really, you're all in the boat together. You're inside the 4 walls there, and but if you're out and about, or you're out with your neighbors or anything else, and if somebody starts pointing fingers and this and that and all this kind of stuff, don't even get involved with it. Just avoid that whole situation, because it's never going to end in a really good thing, because a lot of people have a lot of different opinions, and during an SHTF type situation, the lower key you can keep the conversations, and the more not so hot-headed, and you can keep an even keel, calm, cool, collected, I like to say, this way here, it just makes things a lot easier, and it doesn't bring attention to you. If you haven't noticed, during a SHTF, the biggest thing is you don't want to be bringing any more attention to you than you have to. You want to appear that you're in the same boat is all your neighbors, friends, whoever else, and you're just trying to figure things out and come up with your own plans and this kind of stuff. All right. See what I'm saying? Um, number 7, I think we're on. Number 7 would be don't break the law. All right. If there's curfews put in place, make sure that you're following the curfews. Don't do anything to bring the law into your little domain or anything else, because that could end up being a very bad situation. Because during an SHTF, I really think at that point in time, it's going to be one of those shoot first and ask question later type deals. So not breaking any of the laws or anything else and just minding your own business, which for some people could be very, very difficult to do in an SHTF situation, is key. Do not draw the attention to yourself, especially with law enforcement, government officials, anything like that. Be nice, do what they tell you to do, and go on your merry way, because it's probably not going to end up too well for you if you don't, if you get what I'm saying. Because things are going to change from a normal day like today to the shit hit the fan. And guess what? Now everybody is different. And that's what's going to happen. I got 2 left I want to talk about. And I'm going to say number 8 is have plans. Now, you have a lot of people that, they have a plan. They have a plan for hurricanes. They have a plan for emergency evacuations. They have a plan for, say, fires. They have a plan for floods. They have all these different plans. For SHTF, you have to have your plan. But you have to think about this, folks. Even the military, they have plans, but they don't have just one plan. They have multiple plans. They have a plan A, B, C. They have all these contingency plans in case something changes. What if this happens? All right, now what are you going to do? What if this happens? So it's like you kind of have to pre-think in your mind of, you know what would happen if, X, Y, and Z took place? What is my response and my plan going to be to X, Y, and Z? You follow what I'm saying? So having multiple plans in place would be key in an SHTF type situation, because you have to plan for what you're going to do and how you're going to execute that. Rather it be, okay, say solar flares. All right. Say we have these huge solar flares come through and knocks all the power out, and now we have no power. What's your plan? What if, God forbid, if something ever happened and it was a war of some kind? What if we were invaded by another country? What do you do? These are just things that you have to think about, as much as people don't want to hear this, but it's the truth, folks. I'm trying to get you some information and get you thinking up here, this kind of makes sense in a sense that I'm not trying to scare people here. I'm not trying to, put the voodoo death thing on anybody here, but I'm trying to make you aware of these situations and how plans are so critical to your well-being and to your survival. You get what I'm saying, I hope. All right, and the last one is, and this is the biggest one, is don't talk about what kind of preps you have. So, even like right now, there's a lot of people, obviously I'm a content creator. A lot of people know what I have. You see videos on it. the whole 9 yards. That's something I choose to do. But you, as the normal prepper out there that don't have a website, YouTube channels, or anything else, you want to make sure that what you are doing with your preps is your business. It's not somebody else's business. It is your survival that you're putting up. Nobody else needs to know what's going on. Your neighbor next door, people around the block, even some of your friends and stuff, because I've done several videos, folks. I've shown you how you can hide some of your preps and everything else, and you can take and you can get bed raisers and raise your beds. You can put them in totes. You can slide them underneath the bed. Nobody even knows they're there. Put them in closets. I have a spare room. I just close the door. If people come over, I just close the door. Nobody knows what's in there. They have no idea. That's where all my shelves are and everything else, and my buckets and this kind of stuff. Excuse me for 1 second. But the key to this is you got to keep your preps and stuff to yourself. You can't go around broadcasting to the whole neighborhood and everything else, hey, well, if something ever happens, I got plenty of food, or I got plenty of supplies and all this. That is just opening a door for a whole problem. I mean, that's like opening a can of worms in the middle of a minnow bed, if you get what I'm saying. And that's what it's going to be like. These people aren't going to forget, hey, that guy across the street, I remember he said he had food and water put up, and he's got, battery banks, he's got generators, he's got gas, he's got all this kind of stuff. Well, guess what, folks? Where do you think they're going to go knocking? On your door. And that's the last situation that you want to be in. So keeping your preps low key is going to be beneficial. Now, on the flip side to that, excuse me, on the flip side to that scenario and what I just said, you have to be able to make decisions based on the fact your neighbors, you might have known them for 25 years. So they're more like family. And you have to decide on who you're going to help and who you can trust to keep their mouth shut. If you feed them, if you give them warm blankets, if you give them water, if you tend medical supplies, whatever it is that you may do for them, you have to make that decision if you can trust these people. Now, somebody that you've known for 25 years, I would hope that you could trust. But if you live in a neighborhood and you really don't know your neighbors that well, you talk to them and stuff and whatever, and but that's about the extent of it. Well, you know what, folks? I wouldn't be saying anything to any of those people. You get what I'm saying? I'd be keeping everything to myself. I would just sit back and just let everything just roll right along and go with the flow, just like everybody else is. It's a two-edged sword when it comes to prepping, because you're prepping for Shtf, you're prepping for natural disasters, you're prepping for whatever it is. But in the same token, you don't want other people knowing what you're doing. But then in another token, what happens if those people need help? Are you going to help them? You really have to think about that. Don't just jump right in, folks. You have to think about, is it safe for me to do this, to offer my supplies, my food, or whatever to help these people out? Because you think about it, you can't save everybody, folks. All right? I don't care if you've got 2 years worth of food put up. If you've got 100 people around you, that 2 years worth of food ain't going to last 2 years. So you have to choose wisely. That's why I believe that my rice video that I done is my largest video, but it makes perfect sense in what I talk about in that video. And if you guys have never seen that video, which I'm sure most of you probably on here right now have, you have to go and look. If you just go right to my main page on my YouTube channel, yeah, it's right there. It's listed in the top videos, viewer picked by you guys. That's the most watched videos, and it's the #1 video. And it's got, I think it's pushing almost 40,000 views now. But it makes perfect sense in the way that I store my rice. And you can do that with all your different products. So you just have to really think about some of these things, folks. If it's an SHTF situation, you have to really have a plan. You have to you don't want to be panicking. You have to really take a breather, step back, assess the situation of whatever it is that happened, and then execute a plan of what you're going to do and how you're going to survive. All right, let's jump over here and let's see what I've missed. Okay, at this point, folks, I have to put my glasses on so I can see the screen. That's what happens when you get old, if you know what I'm saying. All right. South Florida, DCL. Hey, how you doing? Thank you for joining. Anarchy 77, how you doing? Robert Bates, I got you. Jan, JT. Just going right up through here. Go Lighty, how are you? Thank you for joining in. Sweet Liberties here. Pitbull. Okay, I got back up to the top. Now. Let me see if I can catch up. Oh, Robert Bates is making an apple pie. 30 degrees, 32 degrees, and snow flurries. Repacking some chicken to freeze. Make an apple pie. Apple pie. Oh boy, that sounds really good. Okay, so MBG, I think that's a great idea. She says bugging out is not my first choice because of the Colorado fires. I'm trying to make a large plastic tote of supplies if we do have to bug out, a supplement to the smaller go bag. I mean, that's a great way to do it because I don't know if you have like a pickup or if you have a van or, SUV or something like that. But, at least with the totes, they stack nice. You can organize all your products and stuff in there beforehand. So you know what's in those totes. And then you can just grab those totes, throw them in your vehicles and go, especially if you live and you've been around any of those forest fires or something. We've all seen on the TV and stuff in Colorado or in California also, these people are like, the fire is burning the back of their house. I just don't understand this. The fire is burning the back of the house, and the people are still running in the front of the house, grabbing clothes and stuff and running out and throwing their cars while the back of the house is on fire. Why? If you had some type of a go bag or a tote or whatever that you had your emergency supply kit ready to go, you grab it out the front door and get the hell out of Dodge. I just never could figure that one out. That just always blew my mind. Okay, go lightly, jumping in late. That's fine. I'll catch up on the rest of the video once I hear the rest. Okay, thank you. Best thing to do is what everyone else will be doing. no leaving property or letting anyone onto property. This is true. That's a very good point. Just to stay put. And unless, like, say the government is passing out food or whatever at the end of the street, you have to go down there, then go with everybody else down there. You want to be part of that. You want to Don't bring awareness, because then people are going to be like, wait a minute, that guy hasn't come out of his house for 2 weeks. All right, what's he got in there? Because he's surviving somehow here, you know? But I agree, though. All right. JT says, I have a very comprehensive plan to organize the neighborhood. We'll keep everyone busy and have a purpose. That is a great thing. If you can take the bull by the horns, as I like to say, all right, and you can come out and be like, okay, look, this is what we have to do to survive this type of situation. And if your neighborhood and your friends and your neighbors are relatively trustworthy, and you can succeed in doing that, the more that's in your little group, the better off you are. The less more other people will want to mess with you if the numbers speak themselves. Okay, that's just like in the military. All right, if you're gonna invade somewhere or whatever else, if you're dropping in a couple hundred troops, the other country's just gonna laugh at you. But if all of a sudden you have the ships coming in one way, the planes flying in, bombs dropping here, people parachuting in, and the next thing you know, they've got like 300,000 people on their shores, well, then the ball game just changed now, didn't it? So the more you have in your group, the better off you are. Jan, I have barbed wire ready to roll out when needed. Yeah, well, hey, that definitely gets people's attention, especially when it's dark outside. Just JT, holy smokes. You go, girl. Well, hey, I mean, you got to be prepared, right? I mean, you have to think outside the box. You got to protect yourself, your family, your homestead, whatever it is. Our neighborhood would have too many chiefs. MBG. Yeah, I think that could be an issue also. Everybody would want to kind of do things their own way, and wouldn't want to be a part of, even setting down and try to come to an agreement on how we should go about doing this. JT, MBG, there may be chiefs, but I know what to do to survive. There you go. Even if nobody else on board wants to take, I'm sure JTU could take and do it. Sounds like, Jan, like you have quite a bit of your barbed wire. Robert Bates, this is so true. Robert says, I will be nice until it's not time to be nice anymore. And that is that. And when it boils down to it, folks, I mean, when it comes to an SHTF type situation, that's how it kind of goes. If you're trying to be nice to somebody and they're not, and then they start pushing the issue or trying to get into your property or trying to get into your home or whatever the case may be, then you have to start thinking of the next plan. That's why you want to have plans, because that will probably be something you need to really think about. What am I going to do? Because that situation will probably arise at some point in time, especially if somebody figures out you got goodies and they don't. Just saying, folks. Anarchy 77. Things will escalate quickly. More than likely, depending on the type of an SHTF type situation that is probably true. Because, I mean, okay, look at the whole situation that we're in right now. We have all the food shortages. There's no food at the stores. I mean, on the shelves, they're practically empty. They're fronting just about everything that people want. All the crap nobody wants, there's plenty of. So, if you want candy bars and chips and all that kind of crap, well, they got plenty of it. I don't think you're going to survive too long on it, but they do have plenty of it. But I think that things will escalate very quickly given the whole scenarios and all the different things that are going on in our country right now. And that's the scary part. MBG, thank you very much. He says, I know you are not trying to scare people, but if we don't discuss these things, we could easily mess up. Exactly. That's what I'm trying to get my point across here, folks, is this isn't scare tactics. This isn't, I'm trying to tell you the end of the world's tomorrow or anything else. I'm trying to tell you and make sure people understand in this particular video on what not to do if there is an SHTF. And it's legitimate things that I'm talking about. I'm not sitting here telling you there's a rock falling from the sky tomorrow and run for your lives and run to the hills. Well, that was a good Iron Maiden song for anybody that knows who Iron Maiden is. But, I mean, I'm not. And that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm trying to make sure that we discuss this so that people understand and realize that, hey, if the shit hits the fan, I got to follow some of these steps and make sure that I keep me and my family safe and I can survive the SHTF. Right? Oh, my thing just jumped on me now. Handy Prepper, hey, it's good to see you. Thank you for joining in. Hold on one second here, folks, as my thing just jumped on me. Oh, JT, thanks for throwing that video up there on storing rice. I appreciate that. Oh, South Florida DCL. I see. And supplies were lost in a boating accident off the East Coast. I'm sorry to hear that. I hope at least you're okay and everything, and that's the most important thing. Unfortunately, things can be replaced and people can't. So I'm glad that looks like you're okay. You've lost some stuff in that one. JT, the only person who knows anything, lives on their private island 3 hours away. Oh, there you go. Sounds like a good place to go, if you ask me. MBG, we drive into the garage and unload our groceries after the door comes down. Yeah, I back into the garage. Most of the time, there's nobody out front. Neighbors around here, I don't know. They all just stay in their houses. You never hardly see anybody. It's just really weird. But hey, whatever it is, But I usually, if I got a lot of stuff, I back right into the garage. I agree. Jan, we even go to the food banks occasionally to keep up the appearance of not having any food. We do qualify for their help, so not scamming the food banks. We don't abuse it though. There you go. I mean, even if you did qualify for the help, and even if you do have food put up, there's nothing wrong with going to the food banks. I mean, I don't see anything wrong with that. If you qualify and you're eligible for that particular thing, whatever the services are, that's what I was talking about with the, never decline the government's help or anything else. And this way here, you're blending in with the rest of society and you're not breaking a law because you qualify for it. So there you go. You know, I think it's a good thing. Bob R, hey, how you doing? It's good to see you. Scrolling down. See? Anarchy 77. What do you think about gold and silver and an SHTF? I think it's probably going to be, you're going to have something to barter with. So your gold and silver is probably going to be something that you can barter with if you're not prepared and you need products. I would definitely start off with the silver because the gold is worth so much more, and I would just be very careful in how you approach and let people know what you have. Maybe you could put it off as if you needed something. Um, and you say, okay, well, what will you take for payment? I mean, does it have to be cash? Will it be food, or does it have to be some type of another currency? And let them tell you what they're going to accept. Don't come out and just say, well, I have some gold and silver, because, well, then, either they're going to want the gold or the silver, or they could do something very bad to you and take both. And you see what I'm saying? So throw put it as a question back to them. Say, well, I have a little bit of cash, food, I have tools, I could barter with tools. What is it you want, or what will you take? I throw it off as that way, because you don't want to just throw, you want to keep the flags, the red flags down, if you understand what I'm saying. A lot of the churches around here have them. Yes, JT, a lot of the churches, there's a few right up the road from me. Actually, they're right across the street from each other on US 1 here. Any idea how to form a Meg? Well, I mean, if you're into like a motorcycle club, is that what you're talking about? Meg, as far as um, well, I would say if you're going to decide a leader, you want to pick somebody that is going to um, be the best one at making fast decisions on their feet, that are good quality decisions, that are going to incorporate everyone that is in the group, and that is going to be maintaining the safety and the values and the best interest of the group. You want somebody that's going to be cool headed, though. You don't want somebody hot headed, if you know what I'm saying, even though that person may have the appearance of coming across as a dominant leader that doesn't take any shit. Okay, we'll just put it to you in layman's terms, because sometimes those type of people could get the group in trouble down the road or cause more problems than it's worth. So it's kind of like a balancing type situation. JT, I would definitely agree with JT. Handy prepper. I mean, if everybody can decide, if you give, because the power always goes to somebody's head, the power, the money, the leadership, they think they control everything. They can tell everybody what to do and they expect them to do it. So if it's a group decision, maybe if you have a speaker and it's a group decision, and then the speaker can speak for the group, but not necessarily means he's the leader, but he could come across as a leader to somebody else that is approaching the group or questioning the group. Having good neighbors is a perfect thing. Sweet Liberty, JT, haha, I don't either. I'm sick of crowds. Florida's the third most populated. When possible, I'll be leaving the state, but not rushing it because I'm my parents' caregiver. I definitely totally understand what you're saying, Sweet Liberty. I agree. Um, you got to make sure that you're taking care of your parents and everything else, which is most important. And but you can always have that plan in the back of your head of what you want to do, and start making your plans how you want to execute it and where it is you're looking to go and the whole 9 yards. I mean, you can have it all planned out, so when you need to execute it, you're good to go. Or Kansas Living. Hey, how you doing? My toddler is our group leader. He steals all the candy and poops his pants. Unstoppable. There you go, man. That's great. I like that. That's a good one. All right, folks, let me just scroll back up and make sure that I didn't miss anything here. I think I got everything. Handy Prepper, Arkansas Living. I know you from Prepper Nation with John. Starts laughing while reading the paper. I know what comic strip he's looking at. Pickles. Yeah, see, most of the women all know what we're looking at when we're reading. They can tell by our laughs and everything else. Well, folks, all right. We're going to start to wrap this one up today. I'd like to thank everybody for joining me in today. I'm getting these live streams back up and running, like I said, every Saturday at 4 o'clock. I do have tomorrow. Tomorrow's Sunday. Tomorrow at 3 p.m. tomorrow, I have a premiere coming out, and it's the undeniable proof of the nation's food supply. And it's a really good video. I have got a video in there of a farmer and what he had to say about the whole scenario and everything else. So y'all, if you have time tomorrow afternoon around 3:00, tune in. It's not a very long video. It's like 10 minutes long. Won't take you that long to watch it, but I think it's something that everybody needs to see and really understand what's going on. I'm going to be doing videos, one video each week. I'm basing a one video each week off of social media, not the news, off social media on the pictures and everything that is going on with all the food shortages, because that's one true way that we're seeing what's taking place. These people are posting all these pictures and videos and everything else from all over the country, from Canada and everywhere. All right. They're on Facebook, they're on Twitter, they're on Instagram, they're everywhere. And I urge people, if you don't believe what I am saying, just go on to like Facebook, go up to the search bar, type in food shortages, and it's all right there in black and white. And you can see where a lot of them are all coming from, because a lot of people will tell you, I'm at this grocery store here. I mean, it is truly amazing what is taking place in this country. So make sure you tune in tomorrow. It's a world premiere tomorrow at 3, right here on Survival Preparedness for Beginners. And it's on the undeniable proof of the food shortages and what's going on. It's just amazing. I'll be posting that in my community tab right after this video today. And I hope that everybody stays safe. I'd like to thank everyone for everything that you do for this channel and for liking all of my videos. Sharing my videos is the biggest thing. We got to get the word out there, folks. So if you can share the videos with anybody, your friends, your family, whoever it may be, maybe you have that one relative or something that you're having a hard time convincing that they need to start prepping, because your time is really, really getting close to not being able to do it anymore, because for one, the products just aren't there. And now there's limitations coming back in a lot of different stores. So that's a whole another can of worms there. But thank you, everybody. And I hope everybody stays safe. I hope everybody stays healthy. I hope everybody keeps prepping. And until next time, I'm Survival Preparedness for Beginners. Thank you all. I'd like to thank all my moderators that were on here today. Thank you for joining in. I appreciate your time and everything that you guys do while I'm sitting here talking, keeping everybody in line, posting things. You all stay safe. And until next time, catch you all on the flip side.